Hi guys, Sherlock's Apprentice here, aka Mike, and here is part two of the Exodus, my Bible decode. And so, if you followed on from part one, where I showed the deception of where Egypt really was at the time of the Exodus, and where I believe the river Nile, or the river that Moses was put in. And I think the Exodus is all based around, there's all a translation deception. That's basically what we covered in part one. Now, in part two, we're going to cover the proposed routes and why I think there's problems with them. So let's begin. So, my Bible Decode, the Exodus part two of five. Again, the disclaimer, just so I don't upset anybody. It's certainly not my intention. So here goes. It is very important that I state from the beginning that I am no biblical scholar, and the information I'm about to present in the series of presentations is just my personal observations and hypotheses. In no way am I trying to question anyone's beliefs or faiths in the scriptures or any of the religions. I know there are countless biblical scholars who know the history and the Bible far better than I ever could. I am just pointing out findings that I thought were interesting and maybe show possible alternative translations and meanings to the scriptures. I was brought up as a Roman Catholic and as a Christian. I truly believe in the Almighty Creator. Although I no longer see myself as a Roman Catholic, my connection with the Almighty has never been stronger than it is now since discovering the truth of where we live. Since then, I have tried to discover who is really running, controlling this world, and to do that, I found myself going back to the Bible. So, part two, Exodus route problems. So, now let's look at the proposed routes for Moses and the 600,000 Hebrews that left Pyramesses in Egypt. From my research, there are many proposed routes for the Exodus from Egypt, with all of them heading towards Mount Sinai in the south of the Sinai Peninsula. And the main difference is where the crossing of the Red Sea took place. But first, we need to revisit the Bible and note the location stated that they passed or camped at, and where they crossed the Red Sea, or more accurately, the Reed Sea. 1. So beginning from Pyramesses and the land of Goshen. 2. Exodus 13:17. When Pharaoh let the people go, God did not lead them on the road through the Philistine country, though it was shorter. For God said if they face war, they might change their minds and return to Egypt. 3. Exodus 13:18. So God led the people around by the desert road towards the Red Sea. 13. Exodus 13:20. After leaving Succoth, they camped at Etham on the edge of the desert. Exodus 14:2. Tell the Israelites to turn back and encamp near Pi-hahiroth, between Migdol and the sea. They are to encamp by the sea directly opposite Baal-Zephon. So here we have very specific waypoints for the Exodus to the Red Sea. According to the book of Numbers 33, 3-8, the journey from Pyramesses to the Red Sea took 3 days. Some scholars say the 3 days is literal, and the journey was between 50 to 100 miles. And some say the journey time was allegorical, and the distance was much further. So Numbers 33, 3-8 recounts the exodus from Ramesses to the sea, Hayam, at Pi-hahiroth took 3 days. We can see the phrase that makes sense. They camped, or yachanu, refers to end of a day's journey. So 1 day to Succoth, 1 day to Etham, and 1 day to Pi Hahiroth. Finally, 3 days after leaving Ramesses, we are told in Numbers 33:8, they journeyed from Penai Haroth and crossed in the midst of the sea to the desert. This 3 day journey to the sea is mentioned specifically by Moshe in Exodus Shemot 8 to 8:23. So we must go a distance of 3 days into the wilderness and sacrifice to the Lord our God as he may command us. Crossing the sea. Pi Haroth is where Exodus 14:2 starts. We are not told duration of hours, but the crossing did take place during 1 day. Exodus 14:30. So here's the first proposed route, and the Exodus from Egypt. Okay, so here we have Ramesses. So this route, as you can see from the scale, is about 250 miles from here to Mount Sinai, or I should say here to the crossing of the Red Sea. This route, as you can see, is about 250 miles and therefore impossible to be done in 3 days. Note where Philistia is. And this is the way of the Philistines, the first point. It's a road going from Ramesses up through the west coast of Palestine. This would not be a shorter route to Mount Sinai, which is down here. Ramesses to Succoth, there's Ramesses to Succoth, is very close and surely 1 day's journey. Succoth to Athem is a vast distance and therefore not a day's journey, as you can see here, through where they call the wilderness of Egypt, to Athem, where they think Athem is. What's that? That's 100 miles to there. That's nearly 200 miles. Succoth, not a day's journey, and Athem to Pi Haroth, well, that's only about 20, 30 miles, so that's easily a day's journey. So this proposed route would obviously be allegorical and not literal. Route 2, I found, is also about 250 miles and therefore impossible to be done in 3 days. So they have Ramesses, land of Goshen in the same starting place. The way of the Philistines, possibly shorter to Mount Sinai. So here's the way of the Philistines, also called the way of Horus, which goes here. And Mount Sinai is down here. So maybe arguable could go there and down there, maybe shorter. Ramesses to Succoth is about 150 miles. Where they think Succoth is here. And there's the scale. Yes, 75 miles to about there. Another 125 to 150 miles, surely. Succoth to Athem, again, about another 100 miles, not a 1 day's journey. Athem to Pi Haroth, they think is here, or surely that easy to be done in a day. And they're crossing then the Gulf of Aqaba here, calling it the Red Sea. Proposed route 3 that I found. This would be possible to be done in 3 days, camping at Succoth, Etham, and Pi Haroth. So we've got Ramesses here. They reckon Succoth is here. Etham and Pi Haroth. That is quite a short, easy 3 days journey. They then see the crossing here being the Red Sea. Okay. But the way of the Philistines, there is the way to the land of the Philistines is up here. Yeah, we start here and go this way. Well, this is not a shorter route down to Mount Sinai, which is down here. It's totally the wrong direction. So That one doesn't seem to make sense either. Proposed route 4. This route is very detailed. I really enjoyed reading this, and whoever produced this did a lot of work, and I enjoyed reading this when I'm doing my research. So this route is very detailed and will be possibly done in 3 days camping Succoth, Etham, and Pi-Haroth. So Ramses, there's Succoth, I think, there's Etham and Pi-Haroth. So there's your 3 days. And then crossing again the Gulf of Suez, thinking that is the Red Sea. But you then got to question, so here's the Mount Sinai. Would going the way of the Philistines be a shorter trip? So it's debatable whether the way of the Philistines is a shorter route to Mount Sinai, but there is great information on this map. Really, very impressed. Now, second part to this video, the mistranslation. The next problem is the actual Red Sea itself. This seems to be a mistranslation. According to the Bible, in all verses, it is the Reed Sea or the Sea of Reeds, not the Red Sea. The Hebrew word, now this character here, you got to remember, Hebrew reads right to left. So that is a letter S. This is a V or U, and this is a P or an F. So it's like a suf, okay, which means reed or bulrush. The Red Sea seems to receive its name from the Greek translation, meaning Etherean Sea, which means red. Etheria means red. So here is the Wikipedia information on the Red Sea that I found. So scrolling through, Red Sea is a direct translation of the ancient Greek Etheria. So Etria is the country next to Ethiopia. Yes, obviously that guy's named from the Etrian Sea. The sea itself was once referred to as the Etrian Sea by the Europeans. More information here. So then, the name in Hebrew, Yam Suf. Yam meaning sea, Yam. Suf, reed. Okay, there's that reed. Yam also means day, interestingly. So Sea of Reeds is a biblical origin. The name in Coptic, Sea of Ha, is connected with the ancient Egyptian, which refers to water and sea, and the names of the gods He and Huhet. I don't know. But what I found interesting, the association of the Red Sea with the biblical account of the Israelites crossing the Red Sea is ancient and was made explicit in the Septuagint translation of the book of Exodus from Hebrew to Greek in approximately the 3rd century BC. In the version, the Yam Suf. So here was the translation. From the Sea of Reeds is translated to Ethria Thalsa, the Red Sea. Why? I still haven't managed to find out. I did quite a lot of research on the Red Sea and its location over history. I found it difficult to get a definitive answer of its location. This is the location of the Red Sea according to Google Maps today. So here's a picture, and this is where they say the Red Sea is. The two bodies of water where the proposed Red Sea crossings are actually the Gulf of Suez here. So today we have the Suez Canal go through here, and this is the Gulf of Suez, and the Gulf of Aqaba here. These are not the Red Sea. I've looked at many maps, and there's no consistency of where the Red Sea actually is. It keeps changing. The Red Sea comes from the name Etherean Sea, from the ancient Greek king called King Erythras, I should say. Either Erythros, I'm murdering these pronunciations in Greek, means red or ruddy in Greek. So here's another map showing the periplus of the Ethereal Sea. So this is a document, this is referring to a document of in historic record of travels through these red points that were explored, and they talked about the Erythraean Sea. And you can see this area being labeled as the Erythraean Sea or Red Sea is what we would call today the Indian Ocean. This is not here. This is called the Arabian Gulf. And then you have the Suez Gulf and the Aqaba Gulf. So this is certainly not the Red Sea in this map. Okay, so this is from the 1st century CE, Common Era. I was looking at other maps to see if I can get some consistency. Again, the Erythraean Sea here. There's India. This would be the Indian Ocean again. Persian Gulf, Arabian Gulf. There's the Nile. Gulf of Suez. Gulf of what's that? She says the Gulf of Arabia, and it calls the Arabian Gulf here the Red Sea. So that's closer on this map. And this German map. So you have again Arabian Sea here, not Red Sea. Here, Arabian Gulf, Erythraean Sea down here. So today's Red Sea was historically referred to as the Arabian Gulf. So remember, the Google map showed the Arabian Gulf being the Red Sea today. And the Euphrates Sea here used to be called the Red Sea. Unfortunately, there are no conclusions I can determine from these maps because even the Gulf of Suez and the Gulf of Aqaba have also been referred to as the Red Sea in the past. What I do not understand is how the Hebrew translation of the Sea of Reeds or the Reed Sea becomes the Red Sea. How can reed become translated into red? Now, in English, we can see, yes, very easy. But from Greek, Hebrew, doesn't make sense. Red in Hebrew is Adam, hence the name Adam comes from red, the clay in the Bible. Okay, there's Adam, meaning red. Okay, here's the translation in Google Translate. That's Edom using that as a U. Yeah. So you can see red translation. There's not Soph, which is what the Red Sea is in the Bible. So Exodus 13:80. So God led the people around the desert road towards the Red Sea. So we look at 13:18. So God led the people way of the wilderness, the sea red. Soph, not Adam, Soph. Interesting, a footnote here, 1380, or the Sea of Reeds. But the Red Sea in the Bible, in Hebrew, is Soph, which we can see means reeds, not red. So Soph means reeds, rushes. But you can see here, yes, Exodus 2, set amongst the reeds. Remember, Moses was set amongst the reeds. There's the Soph. Yes, the reeds, Soph. But then later, Soph means red, the Red Sea, the Red Sea. So here, red with an asterisk, 24 reeds, rushes, weeds. I found this an interesting comments that the Nile no longer has reeds or Egyptian papyrus, but the Sea of Galilee does. So there's another word for reeds used in the Bible, and that's gome. Comes from gamma, to drink. But if we look here, so the famous Egyptian papyrus, from which paper-like laminae were developed for writing purposes, In ancient times, these papyrus reeds were abundant on the bank of the Nile, but nowadays they're virtually non-existent. However, this plant does survive around the Sea of Galilee and other wetlands in Israel. Interesting. So, the Sea of Galilee is and was also called the Sea of Kinneret. Where does the name Kinneret come from? So here, Wikipedia, Sea of Galilee, it's also called Lake Tiberias when the Romans took over, or prior Lake Kinneret. So I tried to find the etymology of Kinneret. So there is an archaeological site called Kinneret. Here, Chinnereth, you see here, and later in the future parts, you will come across that Chinnereth. But this I found very interesting. In the Talmud, according to Jerusalem Talmud, the name Kinneret is derived from the name of Kinnar trees, which grow in the vicinity, explained by this gentleman to mean the Christ's thorn, jujube, and by this Moses Margolis to mean cane reeds. Kinneret, cane reed. Moses Margolis or Moshe ben Shimon Margaret is 1710 to 1781 from Lithuania and was a Jewish rabbi and commentator for the Jewish Talmud. And he believed or basically stated that Kinneret means cane reeds. So remember, we're saying the Sea of Reeds, the Sea of Kinneret is the Sea of cane reeds. So the Sea of Galilee, which was also called the Sea of Kinneret, means the Sea of cane reeds or the Sea of reeds. Here in an old map, Sea of Kinnereth and other names. Another interesting point is there a town called Migdol next to the Sea of Galilee, just here, which is one of the waypoints of the Exodus we'll come to in a later episode. Migdol means tower or watch out or lookout place. But there are several in Palestine with this name. But it was interesting that there was one actually on the Sea of Galilee. Therefore, these are the reasons I believe the Exodus crossing could have taken place across the Sea of Galilee and not the Red Sea. So that's the second part, guys, showing that the crossings of the Exodus that are given have many holes in them. I haven't found one that makes sense. Any of the waypoints, Sakoth, Ethem, Piharoth, there's no reference to any of those places today. And as you can see in all four of the crossings, they were all thinking they're in different locations. In future parts, I will show that some of these places are already in the Bible and still have references to them today. So once again, thanks for watching. And I look forward to seeing you guys in part 3. Bye for now.